Hey, house guests, welcome to another recap of Big Brother 12. We got to start by giving a shout out to Authoress 95. It's her birthday tomorrow, September 2nd, so party up, girl. All right, last time on Big Brother, Ragan and Enzo were on the block. Enzo is beginning to suspect, all right, not just beginning, he's pretty much sure that Lane is together with Britney. And Enzo has a little chat with Ragan, and Ragan figures out that Enzo is in the bottom of the Brogade Alliance. So it's penguin costume time. It's time for it to go. They have a little removal ceremony. It's called Shunning the Penguin Suit. They all went out in the backyard, and Enzo gave a little speech. He kind of recited a little poem. He told the rubber ducky, yo, I'm not your daddy, and all. And then he took the costume off. They all chanted, shun, shun, shun. And the costume curse is miraculously broken, according to Hayden, because it seems like anytime anybody had a punishment costume on in the house, they were evicted wearing it. So, yeah, congratulations, Enzo. Whatev. So, Ragan is studying like a crazy person every waking minute. After all, he is all alone in the house drinking out of his little bowl. It was so sad. It's really him versus the house, unfortunately. So it's time for the veto competition. There's a swampy, seedy-filled backyard, and Otev has magically transformed into a talking clam with a bow tie and a hat, kind of like the WB Frog. And he's going to be singing a song, much like the WB Frog. I think it was to the same tune, you know, hello, my honey, hello, my baby, hello, my ragtime, blah, blah, blah. All right, so he's going to describe two house guests in the song, and you got to bring back the CD that has a little mashup of both of their names. So Lane started off the first round by bringing the wrong CD. He got there before Ragan, but he brought the wrong CD, so he was out. And he was really effing hating the clam burglar at that point, because this thing, I think they're ripping off McDonald's. I think McDonald's better call up and put a little cease and desist order on them, because it was definitely the Hamburglar. All right, Hayden was out next, followed by Britney. So it came down to Enzo and Ragan. And for the last question, Enzo and Ragan went flying down the ramp. In one fell swoop, we're on that CD, but Enzo got his hand in there first. He scrambled up like a little demon up the ramp, and he won it. He friggin' stole it away from Ragan. When I was reading, like, the spoiler, whatever, I thought that it might have been, you know, a little controversial, but, I mean, he got in there first. What are you gonna do? They both knew where it was. It was a close one. That's all there was to it. But Ragan had the power move. He took the CD that he had, he flung it, and it went over Otev, and it bounced off and hit Enzo with the same shot. It was pretty cool. All right, so Ragan was all bummed out. Yeah, he's going to be crying. What do you expect him to be doing? You know, dancing? So Enzo was behaving like a real doucher, too. You know, he was like, yo, Reagan's a bad sport and blah, blah, blah. No, you are a poor winner. They should strip you of your veto and give it to Ragan. All right, so Britney and Hayden, they're standing around wondering who's going to go up on the block. But according to Hayden, it doesn't really matter, because both of them are 100% safe unless your name is Britney. Because if Britney goes up, Enzo's definitely going to backdoor her out of there. So it's punishment time. For 12 hours, you have to use a sock puppet every time you speak. That's really funny. Kind of. The sad part about the whole thing is that when Ragan talks to himself, because, you know, it's Ragan against the house and he spends a lot of time alone, he's got to talk to himself with the sock puppet. Ah, rough day. You know that movie Castaway with Tom Hanks? My sock puppet is like my Wilson. I want my life back. Alright, so they had a pretty lame discussion about golf. Enzo was a total dummy. He was totally clueless about it. He called them sticks. How do you play? How many sticks do you have to use? It seemed all very contrived, and I'm not buying that Enzo doesn't know how to play golf. I think that's BS. I'm calling BS. So the house is really gross. It seems like every year they have an ant problem and it's really filthy. And Brittany rolled in the giant garbage can and just started throwing out everything. I mean, they had stuff in the refrigerator that was from like day one. So that's pretty disgusting. I'm sure they could have named some of the things and, maybe groomed them too. It's probably moldy fur growing on everything. So it's time for the third punishment. Ha! But wait, Hayden actually took out the trash. That's a first. For the next 12 hours, every time you hear music, you have to stop and dance. Gee, it sounds an awful lot like that old show based on the 70s that was on MTV a few years ago. Remember the one? If you remember what I'm talking about, give me a thumbs up. And if you actually know the name of the show, please put it in the comments because I'm like thinking, what could it be? I know it wasn't that 70s show because they wouldn't totally rip off the one on network. All right, so my only question is maybe too obvious. What happens if you're in the crapper? Can you seat dance or do you actually have to stand up? And guess what? Hayden was the worst dancer. Although there was a little clip of him in the house with his hair slicked back when he was in the hot tub, and he looked a lot better without all that crap in his face. So, little word to the wise, Hayden, you need to do something with that hair because the Bieber thing, you're a little bit old for that. All right, so Lane asked Hayden if he's okay with going up on the block, and he says no. Well, then he talks to Brittany, and Brittany tells Lane that Hayden's going to beat you if you take him to the final two, so you best be taking me. And yeah, it made sense. He was convinced because when it was time for the POV ceremony and Enzo used the veto on himself, well, Lane started off by kissing a little butt to soften the blow of Hayden going up on the block. Yeah, he's taking Brittany to the final two. He's no fool. It's his best shot. All right, so tomorrow Ragan's going home, unfortunately, which is sad because I really came to like Ragan a lot and hate Enzo a lot. So it's really kind of sad that Ragan's going home and Enzo gets to stay and he's all blah. So till tomorrow, much love.